welcome back to the Wizard Weekly, where we talk about everything in gaming. There is a such thing as being too dumb for your own good, because that's been made apparently yet again by Nintendo, because they've caught another victim in this whole era of them going after any form of piracy, copyright infringement that they can on no matter if you're a small creator on the side of the road making videos out of a cardboard box. If you somehow like make some sort of illegal emulation videos on a 30-year-old game from Nintendo, you're catching the boot. However, this time it's hard to be insanely like mad at what Nintendo is doing here, because the person that they are holding this lawsuit against for playing their games early and leaking footage out into the internet is a person that has repeatedly antagonized them for over 2-3 years, and likely even before that they didn't even know about probably. And this streamer, YouTuber, online tag, his name is, or her name is Every Game Guru. And like I said, for the past couple of years, he's been streaming, making videos on damn near every platform. Look at all these platforms that he was on: YouTube, Discord, Twitch, TikTok, Trovo, Kick, Vaughn. What the fuck is a Vaughn? Picardo, Nemo, Loco, Facebook. He has just been making as much content out of games that he was playing early through illegal downloaded ROMs, and even linking ways for players to, you know, get ways to play this on their own as well. And my bad for the video, I should have put it over here. But anyways, listen, the internet is a really vast place where people know a lot of things, and Nintendo's games, I gotta be honest, they're not hard to, you know, crack in and play on the emulator on any damn near anything. Like, most of Nintendo Switch games are sub 10 gigabytes, and there's even freaking smart fridges out there that can run that kind of hardware with a little bit of tweaking. And Nintendo knows this. Like, they've been going so hard, shutting down Yuzu, 𝐿, all these different emulators and websites that share all of these illegally shared games. But where it gets really weird on Every Game Guru's part is the fact that not only did he live stream and make videos and content over games that weren't out yet at the time, like over 50 times since 2022 they reported, but also the dude, he just wanted to mock Nintendo as hard as possible. Like, he tried to do the DX suck it into their face. They apparently said that they have emails from himself saying that he had 1,000 burner channels and that he can do this all day, like he's freaking Captain America from the Avengers movie. The dude had posts that wrote step-by-step guides on how to illegally download ROMs. He included links to the 𝐿, Yuzu, suing, and Sudachi Nintendo Switch emulators, links to websites that distributed games, and links to websites where people can get a Switch decryption key necessary to play the console's games. Now, like I said, I'm not mad at what he knows, because damn near a lot of people know about this. There's an entire community of Nintendo, you know, piracy crackers and shit like that, you know. I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, allegedly, there might have been a time where I dabbled in the 𝐿 emulator, even though this, as you can see, is definitely not the 𝐿 emulator. So, you know, Nintendo, if you're watching, that's just a regular application with an icon that I modified and I named it not 𝐿. So, you know, I'm not part of any of this. But dude, this kind of thing, for not even just Nintendo, but for all of this shit, until it gets, you know, undoubtedly like FBI shut down in its, you know, purest form, it's like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club, at least in the way that he did it, to which he antagonized Nintendo for years, sending them emails and just straight up mocking them. Doing that and creating content out of it for people to live stream and see that you just left up, like he didn't even private the VODs afterwards. So there's just a lot of just bad planning on his part with, you know, how he carried out this whole thing. So, you know, I'm sad that he had to have this happen to him, because, you know, a lot of people are doing this, but again, you can't really blame Nintendo for going after someone doing it so publicly and so loudly. But apparently they're going the Gary Bowser route as far as damages go, when they're asking for $150,000 in damages per violation of this copyright, which can end up in the millions and millions of dollars, like how Gary Bowser has to pay for the rest of his life. So it's likely that Every Game Guru is going to be facing a similar suit. Now, of course, he can duke this out in court if he gets a good lawyer and whatnot, but like I established in the last video talking about Power World and how Nintendo's going after them, Nintendo has yet to lose any court battle that they initiated in life. So it's not looking too good for the 𝐒𝐔𝐏 gamer here. So, you know, that sucks. Moving on, the Japanese journalism gaming website Famitsu, they recently had an interview with Toshihiro Nagoshi, who was the head of many amazing Japanese IPs, like how you see here Spike Out, Super Monkey Ball, and my personal favorite Yakuza, which I got gameplay of right here. I recently played Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami, amazing titles. But this visionary dude left Sega back in 2021 to find his own studio, Nagoshi Studios. And since then, the studio has cultivated over about 80-ish experienced veteran creators and planners and designers, all with the purpose of launching the new game under Nagoshi's new studio, with it being his first ever published and developed title. And it seems that Nagoshi has some really interesting things going on with this creative team, because they recently made the popular video called Make Human, which was like some sort of inspirational message to find the reason that we make games, which is the heart of just creating and whatnot. This surrealistic ass shit that we saw. I can't play the audio because of DMCA, but just get taken away by the insane head anatomy of this freaking insane CGI thing here. Yeah, in this interview, Nagoshi, he basically states the challenges of creating a studio by himself and all the things that he's had to do and decisions he had to make in the past couple of years, and his whole journey of making this new dramatic IP that's going to have a big world, from what we can tell, at least some sort of open world where there's going to be roads and highways. But the statement that he made in this interview that's making its round on the internet, which bringing a really good talking point for games, is the fact that he said that he feels that the era of games where volume, aka like the game size or how big a game is going to be a selling point that's about to pass, which he's basically saying that he doesn't think that these multi-gigabyte games and these insane sizes are going to be anything that people are going to be excited for, especially since we've seen so many like games with insane uncompressed textures and just hundreds of gigabytes of storage taken up, but barely have anything to say for it. I'm looking at you, Black Ops 6, good game, but I don't know why that shit is 100 gigabytes. Nagoshi states that he's currently thinking about how to arrange the game's density to suit the appropriate size and volume. Now, what's really important to have in like a big game is to make sure that the whole game follows up. Like, you don't want these big MMO type of open world titles that take up all this space but barely have anything inside them that pertains to the storyline and to the gameplay, because then it just looks like a big ass rendered Unity template box that you're just playing in. So that's obviously something that he's going to be working on in this new game. And I wanted to talk about this because I agree with Nagoshi's thoughts that big games are no longer a selling point, and I don't even think it ever really was a selling point. I just think that people wanted bigger open worlds and more interactive things, like the old saying where they wanted a Grand Theft Auto, we can go in every single building. Obviously that's going to take a lot of space, so I think that's what people wanted. I think that the best type of optimization and game compression in smaller sizes compared to these 100 gigabytes installs plus the DLC and updates over time, I think a smaller a game is going to be a better selling point, at least now. Keep in mind, this is coming from someone who's never opened Unity in his life. I tried Blender for 15 hours and I could barely even make a sphere, all I could do was that dumbass donut from that Blender tutorial that everybody watches. So I don't know the logistics of how game compression and how game size and game development works on that end to that much, but I would just think that if you could find a way to pack as much game as possible into less than realistically like 80 gigabyte install for like a modern game, I think that would be amazing. Again, I don't know shit about how that works. I just know that game compression is a thing that people don't do much, and it's something that developers like Nagoshi here is obviously picking his battles with in developing this new title. Because man, it gets to a point where you're basically paying the price of a new console, or at least like a budget version of a console, for some SSD storage that you'll actually make good use out of for a whole console generation. So I'm just thinking, like, I'm trying to save money on that, and I know a lot of players would like to do that too, especially on top of all the subscriptions. Maybe you got Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, the freaking, now you got a PlayStation with a removable disc drive that costs money to get. So in an age where it costs a decent amount of money to have a good experience with a console, or God forbid we didn't even talk about PC yet, I just think saving that extra money and in short saving that game size would be a really cool thing to see. And finally for today, my inner gooner just couldn't let me pass up on this news that we recently got, which is finally the long-awaited collaboration between Nier Automata and the newly released hack and slash sort of Souls type of game of Stellar. Blade. Now, like the studio of Stellar Blade has mentioned before, their game took a lot of inspiration from the, a classic Nier Automata series playing as 2B, which you have this, obviously attractive female protagonist while you kill enemies in the worst way imaginable. And this free update that's arriving on the 20th of November is going to be introducing some characters between the both worlds, and namely Emil, the spherical head dude with that crazy smile that has a actually cool boss fight. He's going to be having some sort of like shop in the game, to which you'll be able to acquire the collaboration items that they're going to be sharing between these two games, along with being able to play as 2B in Stellar Blade, which is pretty sick. Now, the official trailer here shows some of the gameplay with 2B in the game and some of the various outfits that you get with this character, along with some of the new outfits for Eve. But apparently, like it says here in this disclaimer, you're just going to need some game progression in order to unlock this, Nier Automata DLC stuff. Along with this new exciting DLC and character collaboration, there's going to be a photo mode finally coming, so you can take some photos of Eve's assets and cool selfies. 4 new costumes for all your creative builds out there. Lip sync support for 6 additional languages, and even now at the camp place you can change what music that you want to listen to. And I didn't even see this, but apparently this also would expand the character customization to where they've added no ponytail feature, so you can even fine-tune exactly how your Eve build looks. So yeah, this is all the DLC that they announced at this last state of play about like a month or 2 ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but yeah, it seems like some pretty cool things for Stellar Blade. I've heard a lot of good things about this game. I enjoy watching it. Not for that reason, but I actually enjoy watching streamers play this game, so it's cool to see you getting new content and whatnot. And that's all I got for today, man. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.